This tutorial looks at a cash budget. There are three sections or three steps involved in a cash budget. The first one is how much cash did you have at the beginning of the period? What is the net cash flow, either positive or negative, during the period? Your opening balance plus your net cash flow will give you your closing balance. How much cash do you have at the end of the period? Now let's say you started off with 100 Rand, positive figure. Your cash outflows exceeded your cash inflows by 20 Rand, so you've got a negative 20 Rand net cash flow. 100 Rand minus 20 Rand gives you 80 Rand at the end of the period. Now let's have a look at an example. You've got 2 months, February and March. Your opening balance was 100 Rand. Now in order to determine your net cash flow, you first have to start with the cash inflow. All the amounts in cash received during the period. The first one could be cash sales in Feb. You could also have cash payments from debtors. You could also sell an asset and receive cash for it. Let's say your cash sales were 100 Rand, cash from debtors was 50 Rand, and the sale of your asset brought in 30 Rand. It means your total cash inflow is 180 Rand. Now in order to get the net cash flow, you need to deduct the cash outflows from the cash inflows. So let's go into our cash outflows now. The first one is that you could have cash payments or cash purchases. You could also have cash paid to creditors because you bought goods on credit. Let's say your cash payments or purchases are 80 Rand, your cash to creditors is 80 Rand. This says that your cash outflow is 160 Rand. Your net cash flow, which remember is the second step, is the difference between your cash inflow and your cash outflow, and it gives you a positive 20 Rand. The third step is to compute your closing balance at the end of the period. You had 100 Rand to start off with. The net cash flow is 20 Rand, so therefore you end off with 120 Rand. Your closing balance for this period becomes the opening balance for the following period, 120 Rand. This is a simple cash budget.